We all know it's a big job to manage the land and water resources on our cattle operations, especially as these commodities become more limited and more valuable. That's where NRCS, the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service, can play an important role. NRCS offers farmers and ranchers the technical and financial assistance they need to protect and improve the resources under their care. Here's a closer look at the work NRCS is doing to help producers in the Great Plains states.
Stretching from Texas to North Dakota, the Great Plains is a critical region for U.S. beef cattle production. But the health and productivity of these lands are severely threatened by woody plant encroachment. To fight back, ranchers are partnering through an NRCS initiative called Working Lands for Wildlife and a multi-state effort called the Great Plains Grassland Initiative, or GPGI.
I had the opportunity to serve on an advisory committee for the Great Plains Grassland Initiative. I was very humbled that they had asked me to do so. It gave us an opportunity to actually have rancher input. And so having participated in some cost share programs like EQIP in years past, it gave us some insight to maybe tweak those programs and maybe see where they could be improved.
We have a producer board that we respond to within Kansas. And that producer board has been alongside us from the get-go. They're actually probably one of the driving forces for us being successful in Kansas. And so for that ranching community, along with our partners, to step up and say grasslands are important and we have threats and we need to address them. That's probably what makes me the most proud.
What the Great Plains Grassland Initiative has really allowed us to do is it's really allowed us to have actual wins on the grassland. Ourselves and many of the other producers, we cut more and more trees every year and we feel like we have nothing to show for it. When Direct Tidwell came along and showed us a study and the Great Plains Grasslands Initiative started, it gave us something to really get a hold of where we could actually win and make progress on our grasslands. And that's really important to us, and it keeps that fire going so that we can keep going, make progress.
The Great Plains Grassland Initiative is kind of a new way to attack an old problem. And I like the idea of cleaning up your clean ground, seeing success, then going at the trees, the infestations, the heavier infestations. I like it. It gets you a little help on that financially.
Invasive trees and woody plants don't respect fence lines or state lines, so all of the Great Plains is seeing significant loss of valuable grazing lands and wildlife habitat. The challenge is bigger than any one landowner can tackle. That's where NRCS and the Great Plains Grasslands Initiative provides the expertise and the cost sharing needed.
This whole program stands on kind of three pillars. It's a rancher-driven approach, it's a science-informed approach, and finally then it's an agency-supported. So me as working with an agency is how do we come alongside there and support that effort? Because it's going to take that local effort. With Kansas being over 98% privately owned, it's going to be those local landowners that are going to get it done.
Ranchers and landowners are asking for these solutions. And so NRCS, we're just a technical agency that fits the need of being able to be in there and provide some technical assistance early on to groups as they're starting to implement the solutions that these scientists bring forth. But then also we can come behind and come alongside landowners and other partners and supplement other sources of funding to help landowners offset the cost of doing these practices and given them the incentive to do something they might not have got onto otherwise.
There is no boundaries. It's one big prairie, and being able to work together. Been trying to work from the outside in for so long, and we're just not getting anywhere. And this new idea with this new science has really shown all of us that we're going to work from the inside out, and we're having just better progress in getting rid of the cedar trees and just all the woody species. And with having that intact prairie, we're just expanding that wildlife habitat, the better grazing distributions for our ranchers, and it's just a win-win all around, for not just for the states, but for the prairie, the wildlife, and the ranchers.
Through these initiatives, farmers and ranchers are using a variety of methods to remove woody plants and defend the core of the Great Plains grasslands. The voluntary programs offered to landowners by NRCS are a critical part of the effort.
It takes folks like Dusty Taha with Natural Resource Conservation Service and Doug Spencer. That technical support is invaluable to us. So I'm not necessarily a grass expert, but I know one. I can call on him whenever I have a stupid question. I'm not a water systems expert, but I know a guy that is. I can call on him if I have questions. It takes everybody working together. It's a collaborative effort. And the boots on the ground management is what I provide, what I bring to the table.
There's a lot of help available, again, to get started on it. I would go to NRCS right away and say, hey, what do you have available, to see how that comes into play. And then also look at a burn association in your area and say, hey, how do we work these things together? Because there's not one solution to this thing.
It's clear that left unchecked, invasive woody plants will take over a grassland and drastically limit cattle grazing and wildlife habitat. The desire to protect these grasslands for the future has motivated many ranchers to take advantage of the partnerships available through NRCS.
We definitely recognize that this is a bigger threat than any one landowner or any one agency can deal with. And this is one of the reasons why NRCS is working on pulling together these summits and trying to get so many of these groups set up, these working groups and these coalitions to be able to provide resources to our landowners. Because at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is keep our ranchers ranching. And we recognize that the cedar and these invasive woody species are a direct threat to keeping ranchers ranching.
My recommendation is always, for any rancher that's wanting to get involved with any NRCS program, and especially GPGI, is make that local visit to the local county conservation district where our NRCS staff is and our conservation district partners are at. The best step is just to start having that conversation.
We always tell everybody, get to your local USDA NRCS office, start working with them, be the boots on the ground, get that free technical service out there to go out and see what's happening on the ground and start that conservation plan, because we all know that's where it starts, and from there, that's where good things happen.
We know the peril that it is. We're proactive. We're trying to fight back. It's coming at us. And the program, the GPGI, and the NRCS is helping us to meet that enemy as it's coming at us.
Reporting from the Great Plains, I'm Brian Baxter for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
Now, if you have conservation practices you'd like to put in place on your operation, you should start by visiting with your local NRCS office about the technical and financial assistance they may be able to provide. Go to the website nrcs.usda.gov to find an office near you.